Hi, I'm Bob Summers. I'm a tax attorney in San Francisco, and welcome to Boomer Bob's Tax Cafe and Coffee Bar, where we drink lattes and we talk about tax. Today we're going to talk about the taxation of student athletes. There's been a recent Supreme Court decision, NCAA versus Alston, that allows student athletes to make money on their name, image, and likeness. We abbreviate that as NIL, name, image, and likeness, as the same as any pro athlete can do. Now, the first issue that comes to my mind is, where is a student resident for state tax purposes? The default rule is a student is resident in the state in which his parents live. So let me give you an example of why that might be important. Let's say we have a student athlete from California, which is a very high state tax jurisdiction, and that athlete decides to play football for University of Miami in Florida, which has no state tax. That athlete earns money on his NIL. Well, California is going to tax them on the full amount, claiming he's a California resident despite the fact that he's earning money and living in Florida. Now, there are ways for that athlete to become a Florida resident, but that usually entails a detailed process, including a certain waiting period and the ability to show financial independence from your parents. But nevertheless, let's say you're a student athlete and you're making money. Well, you know, you're going to be treated like anybody else in business. That means you're going to be paying taxes on your income, and you need to think about asset protection. Now, on your income, you're going to be needing to file tax returns, reporting your income and any business deductions you have. And then on the asset protection side, you really need to consider using a limited liability entity such as an LLC or corporation. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're training an athlete and that person gets hurt. Well, you could be liable. They could sue you. So that's why you want a limited liability entity to protect you. Again, you can get into disputes over trademarks and IP. You can have contracts disputes. That's why you want a limited liability entity for asset protection. Now, there's a couple kind of hidden traps here for the student athlete, or any athlete for that matter, who's being paid. For instance, let's say you are a Florida resident in a no-tax state, but you come to California for an autograph signing event. Well, California might tax you on the money you make at that event because you're physically present in California and earning money here. Another consideration is, let's say a car dealership decides they want to sponsor you and gives you a free car. Well, that car is actually taxable to you at its full fair market value. And that's the same with any non-cash income that you receive, such as free airfare, hotels, meals, clothing, and other types of non-cash benefits. In order to protect yourself, again, you want to form a limited liability entity. But I think the other issue that you have, it's really not a tax issue, but it's advice that David Kroll of the Foo Fighters got when he first started the group after Nirvana. He went to Paul McCartney and asked him, do you have any suggestions for me in the music business? And McCartney told him, never ever give up any of your rights to your songs, to your music library, to anything, and control it all. In this context, it means never give up your rights to your NIL. Always retain full ownership and control of those, and license those to third parties. So in conclusion, becoming a student athlete can be great and be paid a lot of money, but you really have to be careful. You have to make sure you've got proper tax planning, proper business planning, that you're using a limited liability entity to protect yourself against lawsuits, and don't ever give up your NIL. Always retain full ownership and control over that asset. If you take those steps, you'll be on your way to a very successful career. This is, if you have any questions on this or any other topics, please drop me a line. If you like this video, please indicate so on YouTube. And please visit my website for other articles on tax. I have videos, publications, and lots of information there. This is Bob Summers from Boomer Bob's Tax Cafe and Coffee Bar, hoping you'll visit me on my next presentation.